Hello, 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 hello.
Good morning.
How we doing over there?
Fantastic. Hopefully, I don't get rained on. I chose to carry my water bottle instead of an umbrella.
All right, all right. Well, you know what? A wet V-Dad shirt is still a V-Dad shirt. That's what they always say. That's what I was taught by my grandfather when I was I was growing up. So it's all
Were
good.
you learned about the VDAD shirts back then as well? I didn't know that it was that widely known.
Yeah,
It
it's
blew me away.
amazing. We're just bringing history back. That's all it is.
Yeah, we're terrible sense of humor people as well, but we laugh at our own jokes.
Hey, it's the truth, man. Um, Robbie, state of the Robbiness. What's happening with you right now? We're at home. We're down in Texas, right?
Yes, I just left the house. We live near a lake, so I'm kind of walking around the
Oh,
lake.
nice.
I listened to our last one, and my I think my AirPods are starting to go bad, so I'm just trying to be very conscious of wind and things like that.
Okay, I'll let you know if there's some sort of interference or issue there. But other than that, I think we're definitely okay. So it shouldn't be
Cool.
a problem.
And you broke
Um,
me away from weighing my food. I mean, I've been weighing my food all morning, so this is what? You're not weighing your food?
no, it's you know what? Weighing your food. I know. You know what? I think at the surface, it sounds like it is one of those very restrictive, overly unnecessary things to do. And Robbie, I deal with this almost all the time. And if no one knows what we're really talking about, part of My Daily Dads, part of VDads, we always have a goal of health, mindset, connection, getting dads, getting parents. And really, this month, which I'm trying not so hard to push this one message. And it's just because, like, I don't want it to sound so commercialized, but
Sure.
it really is Men's Health Month. And so, being able to push whether it's, walking, whether it's going to be getting something like the proper foods in, one thing in particular we know is there's too much research that shows how much fiber from certain foods we can get that can improve health. But anyway, uh, we have a challenge right now of 24 ounces of vegetable and fruit in any combination per day, because that's where we start to see reductions in heart disease and diabetes, and also just all cause mortality and certain cancers, specifically things just like bowel cancers in men, which is huge. So anyway, long way of me saying I know that weighing food sounds ridiculous to some people, but it's like it's the one way that teaches someone just like you, Robbie. You were like, wow, actually, it's not as much as I
Portions,
thought.
portion sizes. It blows you away the way that has been scaled either through society. Hey, I found a hair clip if you want one. Either through society or through going to restaurants and they just had to keep piling more and more on the grand slam. But for some reason, I mean, the as a walker and learning this stuff, I was blown away a couple years ago when I realized how much a serving of peanut butter was.
Sure. Yeah.
I've never eaten one serving of peanut butter in my life.
Many people have not, because one serving of peanut butter, 1 tablespoon is ridiculous, but it's a suggestive size. It's
Right.
suggestive in the way it's just giving you something to work off of, if anything.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, no, it's good. But I was highlighting you because you weighed out some of your food and you were like, wait, I'm already doing this,
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I
right?
was gonna say. For me, I was gonna say it is. Clean eating and some of the things that I've been trying to grow through this process of incremental improvement. I'm having an apple a day. I'm having, the things that you suggested that we have. And to your point, I'm not as I said this earlier. I don't have as much variety in the bedroom, but I get it done. Like it's my food is on track,
wait,
and
wait, wait, what did you
sorry,
just say? You don't
I
have as
wasn't
much variety
joking.
in the bedroom?
Yeah, I don't. I eat potatoes a lot. I eat carrots a lot. I have an apple a day sort of thing. But I don't venture out. Today I did measure out, and I thought it was really kind of crazy. And I know I'm taking us way off on topic, but it was I measured off blueberries and raspberries. takes a lot of blueberries and raspberries to add up. I was like, holy crap, I got up to 4 ounces. That's a lot of it's a lot of fruit. So
It is a lot of fruit. You know what? People were complaining about the price of eggs. I will always complain about the price of berries because berries are ridiculous. Plus, kids eat them so quickly. I'm a big
yes.
fan of just buying frozen berries because the frozen berries, like you can keep them around forever, and the
Yeah.
kids won't eat them as quickly too. So it ends up helping for sure.
I'm a former
Um,
smoothie guy as well, so I used them in smoothies and I passed instead of ice and things like that. So I get it. I'll get better,
yeah,
but it's been great.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's been very eye opening.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping so, right? I think nutrition can feel so overbearing. But let me take a little bit of a hard pivot because I do want to make sure that we're kind of coming back to our purpose of being here. And, Robbie is such an amazing individual. He, his walking routine, his walking schedule is pretty epic. He's really filled up enough steps in his life to walk, around the globe one time, and he's on his second right now. And there's a lot that he's learned from that, from as he talks about, Robbie, you talk about all the time, going to school, right? Learning as you walk, listening to podcasts, listening to books. And I think that the biggest purpose of us getting together is because you're like, look, the walking is not so much the main thing. It's what you do to set the time aside to really be able to, whether it's going to learn, it's going to be learning something new, or it's spending time with yourself so that you really understand, where you want to go in life, to have some gratitude, like all of those things, which is just important. But big things that I know that I've kind of boiled things down to, but business, love, and also relationships, right? So all of these things, well, I guess business, love, relationships, and also really health just because of walking. But it's been amazing. I do want this though, right? If we
Yeah.
know that, Robbie, you're trying to get to about 12 miles a day, 25,000 steps a day, all those things that we're trying to get to, we want an update. We want an update on your steps right now. Do we know where you're at?
33,100 miles approximately. I think I just went over that, but that's where I was approaching last night when I checked for this call.
Awesome.
And I was going to send it to you so you knew. And yes, I'm over 33,000, about 100. I've been averaging about 74 to 76 miles a week the last couple of weeks. So yeah, been good, been feeling good. And
There we
not
go.
too
If
not
you guys need to
yeah.
know, bottom of the screen, ticker right now, we know how far you have been walking. We've got 33,100 miles. That's the one thing I don't have there, but miles. We know we're talking about miles. Miles as of today. Remember, the circumference of the Earth, 24,902. Wait, is it 24,902? No, it was
Yes.
24,901 is what I said. You corrected me at 902. That's what you said.
We're gonna split the difference. It's 24,901 and a half.
I don't want to split the difference. I don't want to do that. I want to make it sound more incredible. So we're going to go with that one for sure. What is this? Why do I have this? Why do I have this right now? I did not send this out. Maybe we'll just check that out and see what's going on. This just popped up. I was supposed to send this to Ripped and Tipped, but I'm pretty sure I sent all my things out on my last Whatnot stream, but it was in my book. So I don't know what's going on there. That's okay.
Nice.
Now it's on my mind. Now I'm just going to be thinking.
So you're like a good mechanic. You have extra parts when you get done.
Oh, goodness. Rob, you know where I want to start right now? We got three amazing people checking in right now over on X, and I know that they're going to be able to really gain a lot of insight here. I actually want to jump to something that we get to at the end of when we're talking. We talked about a few things in terms of walking, getting out, getting active. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I recently had a conversation with one of my clients who I'm getting him to walk a lot more. And, we talked about him changing his shoes, and we talked about him grabbing some stuff for the cold weather. I want to know this because we definitely talked about shoes. Stay with me. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I have all this. From Fleet Feet, Brooks, Glycerin, 21s, right? We're changing our shoes every 350, it's like 150 to 350 miles. You can change your shoes there, right? But we're changing our shoes. We got the Brooks Glycerins right there. We talked about a few other things, right? The length of
socks,
certain clothes and socks, right? I want to know this. It's going to get colder, at least up here. It's not now, though. It's 73 degrees up in New York. It's crazy. But when it's getting colder, what do we have to do? What do we have to do to be ready to get our steps in when weather is coming at us?
So it's actually warmer there than it is here, and I'm still in shorts. As weird as that might sound, we have like a 53 to 52 degree break where we go from shorts to pants. And I'd say we,
Hmm.
my bride and I. So the big thing in this, it's not special to walking, it's special to people that go outside in cold places. Layers, layers is always important. You're going to get warm while you're walking. So like this morning, we wear hoodies and we get about halfway. We're doing our last set of push-ups and we're both warm. So we take the sweatshirts off and put it on your waist and walk about 3/4 way back and get into some breeze and put the sweatshirt back on. So layers so you can take things on and off. Um, Umbrella, which I told you I didn't bring that today, just so you can keep walking when it's raining and try and stay as dry as possible. I would say this, one of the big hacks I learned in the heat. I know we're talking about cold now, but in the heat, I actually have a small umbrella that I take when I'm walking outside, and it's about half the size of a golf umbrella, but it keeps my head out of the sun and it keeps me, degrees cooler. So back to what I was saying, make sure you have the right layers. Still keep changing your socks as often as you can. Uh, I would say if you can have a second pair of shoes, because walking in wet shoes is not fun. And I was doing the circumference and had no choice but to get my steps in. There was many a days where I'd have to put a cold, soggy, wet pair of shoes back on to walk 5 more miles. Lieutenant Dan was not happy with me. So
No.
being have dry, an extra pair of dry shoes. I'm trying to think what else you would think. You always want to stay hydrated, so I stopped using water bottles a long time ago and just went to the hydro flask, and so I've always got liquid. So that's the other thing, and you can take warmer liquid if you want when it's cold outside. But yeah, those are kind of my high level. Did I miss anything that you were thinking you were going to hear?
Um, well, I mean, that's the thing. I'm coming in so open minded to hear maybe if there's anything new. But I think when it comes to weather, one thing in particular that I love what you said is just, I think being ready and carrying those things with you and making sure that there are no excuses, if anything, right? It's like, yeah, you know what? It is going to get cold. It is going to get hot. It is going to be rainy, whatever it's going to be. But there are going to be solutions, right? It wasn't as if you just said that, hey, this weather, I can't go walk. I mean, even I'm pretty sure you were walking in North Carolina when things got a little bit crazy.
I walked from the hurricane. Yeah, I mean I've walked. I think I went and added it up. I think during the challenge I walked about 180 miles on the beach in the Caribbean. And that's back and forth, like polishing your feet because it's sand. You're walking on sand. I've walked on airplanes, 38,000 or feet in the sky, and yeah, when you give yourself something like that, a big, hairy, audacious goal, or however they say the BHAG, it you easily run out of excuses. Like there's, I have to get this done, and I think it's like accountability, or maybe it is accountability, but it's just you figure a way to get it done.
Yeah, I think that's gonna it has to come down to that. And I think it even so, this is the time of year that I think most people have to find the time, put it aside to actually get the walking in. This from a nutrition standpoint, I always say it's like the licks, the bites, the tastes season. And so a lot of
Okay.
people are taking in just like all these extra calories, which is great. You're connecting with people, you love the food, whatever. But we got to make sure that we're kind of offsetting that in some way. So it's always going to be important. Um, I wanted to ask as we kind of transition away from just like these things to get ready. And you know what, the one thing that I was going to mention here was as it gets colder, I always love to really inspire people just by like buy some new gear. And by that, I mean like buy a jacket, find something that you're going to really, attach to. You feel like you can kind of like brave the elements with. I always love that. I love snowboarding and then being able to
Yeah.
snowboard, but like feel like I control the elements, or at least they're not going to control me. It's like I'm warm, I'm dry, I can do anything right now. I can have fun with the world. I always find that to be pretty cool. I do want to, as we kind of, I want to, because I want to get definitely into like the business question and all that kind of stuff too. But I wanted to ask, about any like memorable moments because one thing I want people to be inspired to walk a little bit more. Find the ability to do it, right? Just because you think you can't or you don't have time, I mean, that's it. If you are saying that to yourself, this is it. Like you have the time, you're able to get it done, which is also reminding me when we initially talked about doing this, I was supposed to be walking with you, and I'm not. So I need to kind of set that as a goal. But the only thing is, I have my notes here, which is always makes it easier. But that
Yeah.
has to be a goal for me. Um, but I wanted to ask about some like memorable moments or places that, because you mentioned the Caribbean, but some of those places that you've experienced through this kind of journey. You're not exactly walking across the world. It's enough steps to kind of do that. But where have you connected on these walks, like more emotionally, physically, and you've really loved the idea that your feet can work and you can kind of move these distances? Where is that?
I've had a lot. I mean, I'm extremely grateful that I've had the
We got a little robot Robbie right now. That's okay though.
any places. Yeah, give me a second. You were doing a little bit of robot in my ear, so I was concerned that I was going to be the same way back. I think I'm
Oh no,
walking
okay.
into coverage. Are you better?
Yep, got it.
Lots of memorable places that I feel like I've gotten I'm grateful that I've had a chance to walk. Some of the places that I guess the most memorable, and I guess they're not all going to be like sunshiny. Um, I'm I'm like, you know who Indiana Jones is? I don't know if I can even hear you. Can you still hear me?
I muted myself.
Okay,
I
you can
get
hear me. Okay.
concerned that the class is going on. Yeah, no, of course I know Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. What's Indiana Jones the most afraid of?
Snakes.
Do you remember? Snakes, yes. So some of my most memorable walks have been in areas where there are snakes, and I have this unhinged belief that, like Samuel L. Jackson in Snakes on a Plane, that a snake that's on the ground could launch itself onto my neck. And it's irrational and it's not real. And it's taken me many, 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 many walks now near snakes to realize that they can barely move. And, the reason that I'd get bit is I'd step on one versus it actually chasing me. So I was in Napa Valley. I don't drink wine. I don't drink, but I was in Napa Valley with my parents, my sister and her husband, and my bride and I, and we hung out and did a weekend and wine toured and did all this stuff. And I got an Airbnb, and I'm notorious for not looking at a map when I get an Airbnb, just looking at the house and what does it look like, and is it kind of it's about the experience. Well, I chose an Airbnb that was 22 miles out a canyon road from Napa Valley, so it took us about 45 to 50 minutes once we left Napa to get to the place through this winding hill going up the hill. And I was walking comes to the earth. And so 4 miles from the cabin, they let me out, dropped me off, and drove to the cabin. And I walked past, I want to say 5 or 7 rattlesnakes on the road. And there were times where I'd stop and I would look at it, and it's totally irrational. It's on the left side of the road, and I'm on the right side of the road, 40 feet from it. And those those my wife's family is all on I think it's the western slope of Colorado. And I've had the experience in Colorado where I walk up and down this hill. It's a 6 mile loop for me. And I've gotten to where I've been stuck with snakes that have kind of, and it's all me. Like I can run by it easily and it wouldn't care. But yet I'm so Indiana Jones like, not that I'm cool with a hat and a whip, but I'm just so freaked out that there's no way I can get past it. So those are the kind of memories I remember. And then I have memories of stepping over human feces in India as I walk down the sidewalk. So just lots of different things that I've seen while outside.
Well, that definitely
Probably could have left
sounds.
that last part out. I apologize. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I think it's all perfect. I wanted to add this really quickly. Is it going to happen? Let's see if this is going to happen right now. But it says snakes can't jump, Robbie, but they can lunge forward from a coiled position at high speeds, which can appear as if they are jumping. For example, a rattlesnake can lunge forward half a foot in 70 milliseconds. So half a foot, though, I feel like half of a foot is still, you know,
It's 6 inches. It's 6 inches.
yes, it is.
I was
It's still
40
enough to
feet
scare
away.
me. Now,
Then it was
I didn't have
scary.
enough room
You're in
here,
theory.
but this also says that that's faster than the blink of an eye. Snakes can strike up to half of their body length. So a 4-foot snake can strike up to 2 feet. Wait a second. Okay, this whole thing just lied to us. First of all, we
Yeah.
might give a snake 6 inches, but like it depends on how long that snake is. My goodness, this is getting serious. Um, all right, so we have snakes over there. We have MP over here in the chat. He said, ever since watching one of those videos, I don't use the bathhouse at the campground because we know he camps a lot. Scared a snake is going to come out while he poops. I hear you,
Yeah.
man. You got to take a look in there. Who knows what's really happening? But I think I
Thanks,
think I haven't
FP.
heard many stories.
Oh.
Uh, so that is, I'm getting back over here to my notes really quickly. But I think that's definitely good. But that would be a very not ideal situation if you know there were going to be snakes around in those kind of places. But I wanted to kind of bring together the question about like the weather, and now we have snakes, right? We have all these things that could be stopping you. But I wanted to know how you would approach the question of how you stay motivated to walk. Now, you've done it enough. I think it's just a habit, and it's almost like the absence of walking isn't going to make you feel good. You even talked about this, with your bride, as you call her. That she is like, you got to go out and walk, right? If you're having a hard day, she knows you. She'll actually recommend it if that's definitely the case. But you have your habits down. But
Yep.
how do you stay motivated to walk every day, even when the conditions aren't really ideal, whether it's weather or snakes or both?
I would say that for me, I had the goal and I had the giant goal. And so it was massive. And it's like, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? So just being able to see it, understand it, and go through it. I think that for others, I guess I'm obviously in a different zone. I guess I would say that out loud without an ego is that I can't go without it. It is something that I've done now for I think 12,000 hours, and I just need to keep doing it. Maybe probably quite a few more hours than that. But anyways, my suggestion would be the accountability. Either get a walking partner, get a group, do some of the challenges, a challenge like we did, last month in our group. Fitbit, and I'm not promoting Fitbit. It's where I started, and I like keeping all of my data together. So I've never jumped to Garmin because of that.
I
But
hear you.
Fitbit has within their application, they have work week challenges. They have different things that you can set up with people that and or strangers. And I think the accountability gamification side of it is the place that will help most people that need motivation and need a kick in the ass or whatever the right way is to go out and do it. So if you're just doing it by yourself, you'll come up with 100 excuses. If you do with a group, I think there's a better chance. So I'm open. I mean, I'm not looking to have 10,000 people that need motivation for getting up and going out every day, but I have a Fitbit account, and you can connect with me, and I can what do you call it? I think their feature is you can taunt, so I can taunt you. Can hey, how come you're not walking? My mom used to do it. She stopped wearing a Fitbit not very long ago, but before she would send me these messages. Everything okay? What do you mean is everything okay? We haven't walked today. Oh, yeah, I'm going out now. Thanks. So you can get that kind of accountability and motivation. My mom is available for rent as well. So just
Well, I was
mo-
gonna say I feel like on Uber now you can actually purchase a walker.
really.
I'm pretty sure I saw that. Hold on, I want to double check. But while I double check that, MP had a question over here, which I liked because you also mentioned the Caribbean and then you mentioned Napa Valley over here. But we have MP over here asking, where would you say your most picturesque walk has been?
It's the Caribbean. I would live in St. Bart's if my wife would let me. I'm a creature of the sea. I like the sand. I like walking, and that's where I'd be. And I also, I've lived in Alaska 9 years of my life, and the Aurora Borealis, and hanging out in that. So I mean, just it depends on what your fancy. I don't know if I'm saying that the right way, but there's beauty everywhere. I think a lot of us either spend our head down like this while we're looking at our phone or looking at our feet. And I try as much as I can, and I do some of this with like breathing meditation where I force myself to keep my head up where I'm looking around. I've walked into a hole doing this, so it's not always the best, but keep your head up just so you can see what's going on. And there's beauty all around you. I mean, there's
Yeah,
beauty in the
yeah.
forest next to my house.
That might be the best way to get someone to think about starting to walk is kind of like find that area where you can do it, but I think also just be grateful enough to kind of know what the beauty is around you. I think that's definitely really great. I was going to ask how you really get someone to start walking, because I would love if someone was able to say, you know what, I checked out Robbie. I knew that Robbie was definitely getting his steps in. I saw him talking about it. I know how epic he is, and I've been able to kind of like start that journey a little bit by either I had to find the right shoes, I had to find the right mindset, I had to find the right time of the day to do it, and I think that's definitely a really amazing thing that I would just love to hear from people. I want to ask a direct question about where to start and could be most motivating. I have an answer, but I want to ask you where, um, if someone had to start and they had to kind of look at like maybe how many steps to get, how far to walk. It might sound like a weird question. What could be a good goal for someone to start that's a little bit more measurable and very objective? Because a lot of people are like that.
Most people live near a school. Most schools have a track. Most tracks are a quarter mile each lap. I used to do it when my kids played sports and were at soccer or what have you. I just would walk the track. It's easy because it's measurable, meaning you don't have to even have a Fitbit. You just go say, hey, I'm going to go walk 4 laps today, and next week I'm going to walk 5 laps, and then every week I'll just add a quarter mile, and next thing you know, you'll be walking 5 miles. That's probably where I would put the person that is truly motivated. If you find yourself as not truly motivated, but maybe you got a health scare, maybe you just know you're wrong, but you're not motivated, go to a mall. In here in Texas, malls are huge. I think they're still big in other places, but you can go inside and walk around and leave your credit card in the car if you're concerned you're going to buy a dress and or a shirt, and you can get away with it there. So I've done that, especially here in the heat when it's 110, 115 degrees outside, and I've had enough of the heat. I can go in a mall or something of that nature that's got um, a way to walk, or you can go to a place like Home Depot. Nobody's going to bother you. And, I don't think you have to walk at a pace that is going to make you look like a person that sticks out very obviously in Home Depot, but a good pace walking around and just moving. It's the movement, I think. It's the movement that you need rather than the speed and distance.
Totally. And you know what? I was just thinking about the time of day to do those things too. I love that idea of kind of, whether it's going to be in Alaska, whether it's the Caribbean, whether it's Napa Valley, whether it's New York, somewhere, whatever, wherever it is. I'd love for, people to be able to realize that like these moments that you set aside to walk wherever it is that like connect with people over it. If walking and connection, just like this, are two things that you can bring together, I think that people can be unstoppable. And I think it's such a huge part of how we can really be successful that way. I wanted to correct myself. So I thought, because I think one time we were ordering an Uber and someone goes, what's this walking option? And so
Okay.
in my mind, I saw it and I was like, you can now order someone to walk with you, which I was like, you know what? Maybe in certain areas, you might want to get someone just to walk
Yeah.
home with you. That could work.
Security. Yeah.
Which I'm still not 100% sure if I'm actually right on this, but I did go to Uber just to see what's going on. But all I'm seeing is about delivering on foot. So apparently, if you like, I've never ordered food through
I haven't either.
Uber delivery here. It's just not really my thing. But
No,
apparently, instead of someone driving your food over, you can find the people that are going to walk it over. I don't know. That sounds like a
it's more
lot of.
green.
Oh,
It
okay.
sounds. It sounds.
Actually, okay, that makes
It
sense. Then I
sounds
guess maybe
green.
that's the reason.
Yeah, I was trying to find something that was positive about it because the downside is it takes longer in my mind. It takes longer for the food to show up, and I'm the guy that likes like piping hot food. Like I can tell you, we cook dinner and then we have a puppy and we spend like 10 minutes building this little maze thing for the puppy to try and get in so she'll let us eat our dinner. And I end up putting my food back in the oven to keep it warm because it's cooled off. So a walking person that's green is not gonna bring me any warm food. So yeah, I don't they lost me at that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it does. It
get back to
does.
what you asked for. I would get back to what you asked for. I would find somebody to go for a walk. I've even gotten to the point where I've got my engineer and some other people that I work with where we'll do a walking meeting. Like we meet up and we talk and we're moving while we're doing it. So, you know, you don't have to do it alone.
I mean, I'll say it's always a good reminder for me is, when we have these conversations, usually on Wednesday. Today is Thursday. I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, which is an interesting story in itself. I'll bring it back up another time.
Yeah.
Uh, a dermatologist who basically ended the appointment with the guy basically telling me, go see less doctors and don't come back to see me until you're 50. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to let this settle and I'll approach my thoughts on this later. But it's,
I have two quarter size scars on my back where I had pre-melanoma from being in the sun as a kid all of my life, and it was cut out in my early 40s. So to tell you not to come back unless they just said your skin was perfect, and then that's a whole nother story. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Dermatologists, for me being in Texas, we go every year. Like it's an annual thing, and we've had stuff burned off and frozen off and all sorts of things. It's the sun is something that can dangerously hurt your body. So yeah, the dermatologist sounds like a dweeb, but that's just me.
there was, I think there was some more to it. I mean, my wife has a history, like we have just a very extensive cancer history within our circles. And so it's always on our mind. And so I
Yeah.
was surprised when he's saying this. I'm trying to find some difference within what he was saying and what I definitely know. I understand why he said it, but I think that it was just misrepresent. I think it was misplaced where he
Huh.
was really saying it. So
Yeah.
anyway, we'll talk about that. Don't take that as any medical advice, by the way. That was just what I heard someone say. I still believe that, making sure that you do get your annual checkup every year. I'm also leaning towards getting my blood work done at least 2 times a year, if not three. And so I might start setting that, but I would hope that all men can definitely do that. Get your skin checked annually is what I heard. And so I'm going to probably
Once a
keep doing
year.
it. Just
Yeah.
find a new dermatologist. That's all I'm going to
Find
do
a
right now.
find a dermatologist that'll let you come see him once a year.
Yeah, it's the truth. All right, I'm gonna jump to a client right now. I almost wish I
Okay.
was walking as I was with his client. This guy's in San Francisco. He'd be walking too, actually. Do you think he'd be open to it? So I might actually ask him if next time we get together, if we could definitely do a walk. But Robbie, thank you so much again for the update.
It was good talking to you.
You too, man. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you
Until
next
then,
week. All
take
right.
care,
Peace.
guys. Bye.